Any questions so far? I know Ksenia, you've been reading up to here. Do you guys have any questions, Ksenia and Carolina?
No.
Okay. Um, and I guess let's have Ken. Can you read the next paragraph?
Okay,
眠ってると、
which
眠って
paragraph,
るって
sorry?
なんだろうなと思って、開けて入ったから、いるんのと思って。
What?
Which paragraph?
Oh, yeah. Just the last one, the last paragraph.
That's possible, I said, but really, if you remember, first my father was sick that Friday. Then the children were born. Then I had those Tuesday night meetings. Then the war began. Then we didn't seem to know then anymore. But you're right. I should have hired them to dinner.
Okay. I should have had them to dinner.
I should have hired them to dinner.
Good. Nice. Um, Other than that, nicely done. Any questions? Okay. Anna Carolina, can you explain briefly what's happening in this first page?
I can try.
Hmm.
Um, the woman was sitting on the steps in front of the new library, and she saw her ex-husband, and he she she greeted um, she greeted his by saying hello, my life, and the husband was quite impolite, because she thought she could call him her life because he had been married for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And then she lets it go. Um, and then um, my gosh. And then uh, she she have to pay money to the library, and she didn't deny.
Okay. Yeah, and so she had these really late library books that she took
Yes,
back.
and her ex-husband, uh, brought the books back to the library.
Um,
Uh, Instead of her.
Not, no. So he
No.
followed her to the books returned desk. So, she
Ah,
brought them back, but
she was bringing, and he was chasing her like a
yeah.
stalker.
I wouldn't say like a stalker. But yeah, he was walking behind her. Maybe they were having a conversation. But yeah, so he followed her into the library, and he interrupted the librarian.
And then he told her that the reason for the divorce he uh, was to forget to invite someone to dinner.
Yeah, it was because she never invited somebody to dinner. Yeah, a family. Good. Um, David, can you read these two paragraphs?
Sure. I gave I gave the librarian I gave the librarian a check for $32. Immediately she trusted me, put my past behind her, wiped the record clean, which is just the most other municipal and or the state bureaucracies will not do.
And the
Should I
next
continue?
page?
Okay. A nice thing like a nice thing I do remember is breakfast. My ex-husband said, I was surprised. All we ever had was coffee. Then I remembered there was a hole in the back of the kitchen closet which opened into the apartment next door. There, they always ate sugar-cured smoked bacon. It gave us a very grand feeling about breakfast, but we never got stuffed or sluggish.
Yeah, stuffed and sluggish. Good. Which is just what other? Which is just what other? Or
Which is
what
just
most other?
which is
Sorry.
just what? Sorry?
Which is just what most other.
Which is just what most other
Good. And then municipal
municipal
and bureaucracies.
bureaucracies.
Nice. Cured.
Cured.
Okay. Really well done. Questions here. Okay. Julieta, can you read until things? The end of that big paragraph.
That was when we were poor, I said. When were we ever rich? When were we ever rich? He asked. Oh, as time went on, as our responsibilities increased, we didn't go in need. You took adequate financial care, I reminded him. The children went to camp 4 weeks a year and in decent ponchos, with sleeping bags and boots, just like everyone else. They looked very nice. Our place was warm in winter, and we had nice red pillows and things.
The place was warm.
Our place was warm.
Yeah. And ponchos.
Ponchos.
Good. Any other questions here? Okay. Ksenia, can you read until the end?
I wanted a sailboat, he said, but you didn't want anything. Don't be bitter, I said. It's never too late. No, he said with a great deal of bitterness. I may get a sailboat. As a matter of fact, I have money down on an 18-foot rigger. I'm doing well this year, and I can look forward to better. But as for you, it's too late. You'll always want nothing.
Nice. That sounded good. Any questions here?
18-foot rigger is just the size of boat?
Yeah, it's the size of a boat. And a two-rigger, it means it's like got two, I guess, ballasts, two rigs for sails. Yeah, but it would be the size of a boat. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. And Ken, can you read the first two paragraphs?
Okay. He had had a habit throughout the 27 years of making a narrow remark which, like a plumber's snake, could work its way through the ear down the throat. Halfway to my heart, he would then disappear, leaving me choking with equipment. What I mean is, I sat down on the library steps and he went away. I looked through the House of Mirth, but lost interest. I felt extremely accused. Now it's true. I'm short of requests and absolute requirements, but I do want something.
Yeah, I'm short of requests and absolute requirements. Can you repeat that?
Okay. I'm sure of requests and absolute requirements.
Good. And then the House of Mirth.
The House of Mirth.
Nice. Other than that, I think it sounded good. Questions?
それがそうでもなかった。
What is a plum snake?
A plumber snake. Does anybody know?
I think
Okay.
it's just stuff for plumber to fix air pipes. No?
Yeah, it's something that a plumber will use to clean out a pipe. And so it's, I guess, if you've got like a clogged drain, they'll stick this tool into the drain, like it goes in and out, so you can kind of go back and forth. But that would be a plumber snake. Yeah, and so she's just describing how like his remark kind of like goes through her ear to her throat down to her heart, makes her really uncomfortable. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. And Anna Carolina, can you read the next two paragraphs?
From from I want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's one. It's like one paragraph.
Yeah, a little paragraph in a bit.
I want, for instance, to be a different person. I want to be the woman who brings these two books back in 2 weeks. I want to be the effective citizen who changes the school system and addresses the board office estimate on the troubles of this dear Hilburn Center. I had promised my children to end the war before they grew up.
Okay. Estimate.
Estimate.
So the Board of Estimate, and then this Dear Urban Center.
This dear Hilburn Center.
Urban.
Hilburn. Urban.
Perfect. Urban. Okay. Questions? Okay. Julieta, can you read to the end of the page?
I wanted to have been married forever to one person, my ex-husband or my present one. Either has enough character for a whole life, which as it turns out is really not such a long time. You couldn't exhaust either man's qualities or get under the rock of his reasons in one short life. Just this morning I looked out the window to watch the street for a while, and saw that the little sycamores the city had trimly planted a couple of years before the kids were born had come that day to the prime of their lives.
Okay, let's look at character.
Character.
Yeah, character.
Character.
It's more of a care.
Character.
Good. And a couple of years before the kids were born.
A couple of years before the kids were born.
Nice. Okay.
Mm.
And questions?
I didn't understand the last phrase of the first paragraph, but
okay.
No.
Under the rock of his reasons. Does anybody think they could explain, couldn't exhaust either men's qualities or get under the rock of his reasons in one short life? Any ideas? Okay, so this idea of having like get under the rock of your reasons, your reasons are always kind of something that are hidden from the rest of the world. So the reasons for doing things like you do them, your decision making, um, it's kind of all under this rock, um, which hides the decisions for you. Um, does that make sense?
No.
So like the people's thoughts when they're making a decision or their reasons for doing things, all of
Mm-hmm.
those things are in their head. You can't see them. So it's
You
like,
cannot understand 100%? No.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, pretty much. So you can't get under the like. It's like all of the decisions are made under a rock.
Okay,
They're
I
hidden from
think
sight.
um like you can't understand the real reason, the
Yeah.
rock one. Okay.
Um. So the rock of his reasons is just like the thing that hides his motivations and decisions, kind of.
Okay.
Um. Good question. Any other questions?
Sycamores?
Sycamores. Does anybody know what a sycamore is?
It's a plant.
Type of tree. Um, really pretty trees, generally. I like sycamores. But they look like that. That would be a sycamore tree. Make sense, Ken?
Ah, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it David
Uh,
tree?
is it what?
David tree.
A David tree?
Yeah, he's icon, I think, but I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. Um, right. And Ksenia, can you finish up?
Well, I decided to bring those two books back to the library, which proves that when a person or an event comes along to jolt or apprise me, I can take some appropriate action. Although I am better known for my hospitable remarks. The
Am
end.
I hospitable?
Hospitable.
Yeah. Um, okay. And anybody have any questions or comments about the story?
I didn't get the last sentence.
Okay. So it's kind of going back to the comment that he made her. So you'll always want nothing.
Yes.
Like her inability to kind of want or desire things. And so she goes back and she's like talking about how she felt accused and she does want different things. Um, and then like her decision to bring the books to the library, it's like, you know, what had happened too was that when the husband came, she finally took the books back to the library. So she'd been sitting on the library steps, so we weren't even sure if she was actually going to take them back or not. Um, so he comes and kind of like jolts her into taking the appropriate action, like wanting to do what's right to some extent. Yeah, instead of just talking, but talking pleasantly um, about it. Yeah, I'm not sure if that helps at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, any other questions or comments? Okay. Yeah. I think these other stories too. I don't really want to do that because we've done that a bunch. Just don't want to. I don't know. I was trying to find like a short story because we were a little bit short on time. Um, hmm. We could do this one. So give me a second. Maybe we can look at another one of these. Um, mm-hmm. Okay. And I think Okay, jaguar. I don't think we'd actually gotten to this one before. Um, let's have Ken. Can you read the title and the first paragraph?
Yeah, Jaguar, not the car. I had just seen the jungle for the first time in my rotten life. Centuries-old farms everywhere. So moving when you are in the jungle, you have to remember the hordes of pigs. Hundreds, possibly thousands, would chase a jaguar up a tree and piss on the tree through the night until ammonia makes the cat pass out and fall from the tree, and they eat him in a pile of hooves and spots.
Okay, good. Let's look at so moving.
So
Centuries old
moving,
ferns. Yeah. Sorry, one more time.
so moving.
Good. Perfect. Herds.
Hordes,
Herds.
her, uh, herds,
Yeah,
her,
herds.
horse, a horse,
It's a tough one. Yeah, herds.
horse,
Okay, good. I think that sounds good. Pile.
pile,
Okay. Any questions here?
hooves,
Hooves. Does anybody know what a hoove is?
Maybe just heap of straws? No?
A hoof is like a foot of a horse-like animal. So pigs have hooves, horses have hooves. Um, what else has hooves? Cows have hooves. So yeah, just like a two-toed foot. Does that make
ah,
sense?
yes,
Yeah, a hoof is singular and hooves are plural. Um, all right. And Anna Carolina, can you read the next paragraph?
As he is disintegrating, these are my old pal Tony's last words of advice to me from his days in Nicaragua. Tie your butt to the tree. Then, as we used to say, he was gone. When the dust cleared, there I was, and on the horizon there is the tree, as if he knew all along. I hadn't seen him since we were young Turks. We were letting bygones bygone, but I could see certain pains in his eyes.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at horizon.
Horizon, be gone.
Um, yeah, bygones be gone. Can you repeat bygones be gone?
Bygones, bygones, be gone.
Good. Okay. And Giulietta, what about the next paragraph?
Some left over from when I left. When the rumbling started, we were pretty drunk and we loved the band. Now I eye the tree across the border. Nicaragua has passed my future. I'm so whipped out from the whole experience, I don't know what to do in this bald new vista. I wonder if I really have to head out to it, to that one tree I can see, just because it's still there. Then I hear a rumbling, possibly aftershock. I hear the roar of what could be thousands.
Good. Okay. So this is a really tricky little story.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So words. Does anybody have any words that they don't know specifically?
Mm, Turks.
Turks. Just a Turkish person.
Uh-huh.
Young Turks. Young kids too. I think it might be slang for. Um, just younger people. Any other questions?
Bygones.
What happened in the past? So we were letting what happened in the past be gone. We were letting it go.
I am asking bygones and not be gone.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Bygones is what happened in the past. So something that's a bygone, it's just an event that happened in the past, and they're saying we're letting bygones be gone, and so they're letting the things that
Oh,
happened in the past not matter anymore.
okay.
Any other questions?
Whipped out.
Whip. Sorry. One more time.
Whipped out.
Oh, wiped out. Wiped out.
Wiped out.
It's really tired. If you're wiped out, you're really tired. Um, and so this is also from a book called 100 Apocalypses and Other Apocalypses. And so what we have is a literally disintegrating friend who is Tony, who's somehow dying or turning into dust because of the apocalypse. They're in Nicaragua, in a jungle, um, and they're talking about the first part is the pigs who kill the jaguars, and Tony, who used to live in Nicaragua, recommends to his friend, tie yourself to the tree. So when these pigs come and you pass out from the pneumonia, you will not fall and be devoured. And so when the dust cleared, Tony has disintegrated. He's died. Um, and the
The
sun
dust
rises.
of the hooves.
Not yet. We haven't gotten to the dust of the hooves yet. The dust is, I'm pretty sure Tony. He's disintegrating. He's turning into dust. And then
Okay.
when he finally dies or disappears, there's the tree on the horizon, as if Tony knew that the tree would be there. And then he's like the narrator starts talking about like the past and like the trouble that they had in the past, which is not really mentioned. And then the past kind of turns into the present with the band. You're kind of in that in-between space of the present and the past of like maybe the band and the drunkenness was what caused the problems, and then the rumbling kind of turns into the pigs, and he's going to the tree to tie himself to it. Anyways, I do have to go. I have another class after this. Really sorry about the late start. Thank you guys for coming in anyways.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye guys.